All right, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for week 4 this week. We're coming off 2 winning weeks. Last week we are 8-7 on the picks, 2-1 in the touchdown parlay. Kind of combine those together for 10-8 plus 1.15 units, and we are in the green for the season. So, as far as our standings are concerned, we're going off wins. Stone is 10-6 plus 4 units. Jamie is 9-6 plus 2.8 units, and then myself at 7-9. Not bad records. Stone is in the lead by 1 point. So I'll pass it over to him for any comments before we get started.
I am somehow still in the lead after a terrible week last week. I feel like lost my player pick, and Jamie went 3-0, Connor went 2-0 in the players, and I'm still somehow in the lead. Have a comfortable units lead just because of the touchdown picks. So I got to turn it around this week. I'm the only person with only 2 picks in each category, so
Ooh.
the lead will
All
not
right.
last.
Well,
Ooh.
if you go 4-0, it might bloom.
But help.
Jamie, 9-6. You're running the same strategy as last year, which is dominating player props. Any comments on that?
Uh, I mean, me and Stone talked about it before the podcast started, but you got to pick the right running backs. Okay, got to have a lot of research. But you could tell that the TD prop is coming into play. I mean, that's what's helping Stone out right now. So it's an important aspect of this game this year. And so I got to get on that and the game picks. I was the only one to lose the TD last week. So
Yeah, so Stone is actually 3-0 in the player props excuse me, on the touchdown picks, and we are as a team 6-3. We are absolutely crushing that. Haven't hit the parlay yet, but I feel like we're just like right around the right mix of ingredients here. So let's go over to the picks of the week this week. So I'm pretty sure everyone only has 2 picks for the game side, so this side will be pretty quick. Stone, then myself, then Jamie. So Stone, what is your first pick?
All right, I'm gonna go with this game with 2 terrible defenses, so there should be a lot of
Ooh.
points scored. But Carolina versus Cincinnati over 47 at minus 112. It's an Andy Dalton revenge game. The Bengals defense looked absolutely terrible. I'm not gonna take away from the Commanders; they looked really good, but they scored on like every drive. I feel like, and the Carolina Panthers defense is also bad. So I think Andy Dalton's going to try and go out there, put up some points, and I think the Bengals are backs against the wall. They have to score points too. So
Yeah, I can't start 0-4 for the Bengals. That was 40. What did you say?
40,
46 and a half, 47?
47.
47? Got it.
yeah, just to add to that, I mean, the Bengals defense is terrible. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, you'd say Jaden Daniels had a great game. I would just say that the Bengals defense is that bad.
Yeah, the Bengals, there's some defenses don't seem like they want to stop anybody. So that's I'm gonna keep that one. So I'm going to go the total opposite direction of Stone here and kind of fade myself here on kind of what I did last week, picking 3 overs, and I'm going to pick the first under of the season here.
Damn.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh and Indianapolis under 40. That's at minus 110. Watched some of Anthony Richardson play. He missed a lot of open passes. TJ Watt is probably the best defensive player in the league. Every team he's played so far, he has absolutely wrecked, or he has made someone else on his team life much easier so that they can wreck them. And I don't see there being a lot of points here. They'd have to get to 21-20 for this to go over. I certainly don't see that. So that is going to be my first pick. I feel like this is an evolving move for me, picking an under, but I'll just leave it at that.
I'm
I mean,
surprised
that
it's 40. To be
yeah.
honest.
I mean, that's a snipe. That was going to be my very first pick. I mean,
Let's go.
the Steelers haven't gone over in games they've played. The total has not gone over 30, and they got it at 40. I mean, both teams want to run the ball too. The Colts and the Steelers, and then if the Colts want to throw, guess what Anthony Richardson does? He does long passes. What is long passes? You got to wait for the play to develop, and that's just T.J. Watt coming up around your tackle and sacking your butt. So I like that pick.
Yeah. All right, Jamie, first pick.
I'm going to go on with my really second pick. The Vikings money line, getting some
great pick.
equity here at plus 120.
That is good pick.
They're playing the Packers. The defense is legit, and they've confused C.J. Stroud and Brock Purdy, two veteran QBs. Now they're going up Malik Willis. I know Malik is looking good, but if they can make those two QBs look like they don't know what they're doing, I really feel like Malik Willis is in a lot of trouble.
Is Jordan Love not playing? I thought there was a chance he might play.
I mean, there's a chance. I'm going off Malik. Even if Jordan Love plays, I mean, do you really want to throw him less than 100% versus this defense?
Probably not.
I don't think you want to throw him less than 100% in week 4 for anybody. It wouldn't. Yeah, I know there's
that's your
matchup, but
your franchise QB. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. I
think
had
he's gonna try and get out there just because the Vikings are 3-0. If they lose this game to them, like the division almost feels out of reach. So I think he'll probably try and get out there. What that means, I don't know. We'll see.
good point. Those are excellent points about the division.
I kept my eye on this game too for the Vikings, and the more I see lines popping up and being bet for Jordan Love, the more I feel like someone knows he's going to play. It just starts feeling that way. But anyway, Stone, second pick.
I'll just say, even with Jordan Love out there, I still like that line. So
yeah, that's still totally fine. They just crushed the Texans.
This next line surprised me a bit. Maybe Vegas knows something I don't, but LA Rams +3 against the Bears at -115. I just think the Bears are not that good of a team. I think Caleb Williams is still trying to figure it out. And I think even though they're on the road, I think Sean McVay is a way better coach than the Bears coach, and I think they go out and figure something out, especially coming off a win against the 49ers. Yeah, I think the Rams will figure something out against the Bears.
Yeah, I just think it's because of their lack of weapons. Everyone that's injured.
Yeah, that's very fair.
But it's also, like the Rams' weakness is the rush D, and the Bears have not been good running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting line to say the least.
That's what I was going to say. The Bears really haven't put Caleb Williams in a position where they could actually feature a lot of different looks. And it seems like they're always behind. They're always, he's not playing good. He's not accurate, but Rams +3. That's a good one. All right. For my last pick, I'm going to do something. One of the things I try to track every season is home underdogs. And home underdogs this year are 5-6 on the money line. And so I'm going to take Tampa Bay money line against Philly, and that is +105. The line when I wrote it down last night was +1.5, money line 105. I'll take the money line, try to get some units here, try to catch Stone on that touchdown parlay. They're at home. They haven't played great, but Philly, I think, has let some people hang around too long. I think this is going to catch up to them.
I am going to jump on this game as well, except I'm going to do the under. 43 points at -115. The Eagles are without their top weapons. They'll want to run the ball, and their defense played well last week. Tampa Bay, like you said, hasn't played particularly well.
Unders have been killing it this year, almost 60% unders. So I'd like to see it bounce back from just watching the game standpoint, but it seems like the bets are moving in that direction. So with that, we will pivot down to the player props. And so this is where we did really well last week. Jamie has improved to 4 picks. He'll pick first. I've improved to 3 picks. I'll pick second. And then Stone at 2, he'll pick last. And so, Jamie, I'll pass it back to you for your first pick.
All right. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be a running back.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Jones over 59.5 rushing yards. That's at -115. This one's a revenge game for Aaron Jones. And Green Bay's run defense, stats-wise, looks a lot better than it actually is. The Titans only had 33 rushing yards last game, but they gave up over 100 to Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley. So I think Jones can hit this pretty easily. I think he's one of the top backs in terms of yards per rush after contact. I think he's averaging like 4 after contact. So, like I said about the Vikings, I think they're gonna, make whoever's playing quarterback their life tough. And if anything, if they're close game. If not, they're winning. So I expect a lot of running.
Yeah,
All right.
I had picked Pollard against Green Bay last week for the same
Mhm.
reason that I thought Green Bay had a bad rush defense, but the Titans just decided to let Will Levis throw it instead of hand it off.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good line. Aaron Jones has been one of the best running backs this year.
Yeah, Titans seem totally willing to just let the ship burn as it keeps going.
Yeah, I don't get
and
it.
Jones looked really good last week, and he seems to be in a very happy place. I don't know if you saw some of his interviews, but he's even got like the blonde highlights in his beard right now. I don't know. Check it out. All right. So with that, my first pick is a guy I had as one of my picks last week that I didn't put on the podcast because I only had 2 of them, but he absolutely crushed it. I'm going to go with volume on this and opportunity. I'm going Carson Steele. And his over-under is over 48.5 rushing plus receiving, which is pretty low because he got in the 70s just rushing last week. They're also, that's at minus 115. They're also heavy favorites in this game. I can't imagine that they're going to, if that line holds or if they're around that they're not just going to hand the ball off to this guy. They trust him. He doesn't run as hard as Pacheco, but he is the guy that they're going to lean on for running while he is out. And 48.5 seems low for that number. He had almost 20 more than that last week.
Yeah, I just feel like the receiving work is not there, but that line is still low, and they do trust him. He's their second round pick, and you saw it last week. I think he had 17 carries last week. So, Yep, volume is there.
I think the difference for the receiving was like 1 yard or 2,
Yeah,
1.5, 2 yards. And so
get some better odds.
Play
Yeah.
it safe in case he got yeah. Anyway, pass it over to Stone.
I'm going to leave the running backs to Jamie, just because I was 0-2 on them last week.
Oh.
So I'm gonna pick a new position. I'm gonna go with a tight end this week. Dalton Kincaid over 38.5 reception yards at minus 115. The Ravens' pass defense has looked really shaky this year, to tight ends and wide receivers, and I think Kincaid over time is gonna be one of Josh Allen's number 1 weapons on this team. So 38.5 seems like a good line.
Yeah,
he's had an up and down season. Some weeks he's gotten a lot of looks. I mean, Buffalo's been waxing a lot of teams, so they haven't really had to pass it a lot. So
yeah, I think this game will be a lot closer, and he will have a lot more opportunities this game for sure.
Josh Allen's got to be MVP right now, right? Hot take.
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
Well, I mean, they're killing everybody. Why wouldn't he be?
They're killing everybody. It's crazy. All right, Jamie, back to you. Pick number 2.
So yeah, we're gonna play off the Carson Steele a little bit, but different.
Nice.
I'm gonna do Alvin Kamara over 68.5 rushing yards at minus 115. They are playing the Falcons, who just gave up to 72 to Carson Steele.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that comes in. They gave up 70 to Najee. They're a bottom 5 run defense. The Saints want to run the ball.
I like it. I got to check on these next 2 because it seemed like last night to this morning it moved, which is maybe a good sign, maybe a bad sign. Yeah, both of these numbers have moved. I don't think I'll get sniped on the second one. I think I'll get sniped on the first one. So I'm going to go back to the well. Every wide receiver 1 that's played the Commanders so far has been absolutely dominant. Who even knows who they're putting back there to cover these guys? They don't even seem to be, 5-10 yards. Jamar Chase was 1 yard away from hitting his over in the first half last game. So I'm going to go with the rookie on this, Marvin Harrison Jr. And it's unfortunate because last evening it was at over 70.5. Now it's moved to 73.5. I'm still going to take the 73.5. But that's at minus 115. Throw an extra 4 yards in there. That's one of the lines that if he gets like 72, you'll be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that just happened to me. But 73 doesn't scare me either. So that's where we're at with that.
I mean,
All right.
the Commanders' defense is trash. So
I looked at this line too. I think he's gonna crush it. I'm also playing him in fantasy against you. So is this like some reverse jinx? Is that you're trying to get?
No, my fantasy season is in shambles, and if I lose this week, I might as well just pack it up.
Yep. All right. This next pick is a little bit of chalk, but I need to get some more picks on the board against these guys. But I'm taking Will Levis over 0.5 interceptions at minus 135. He's thrown like 6 picks this year already, I think, or 5 in 3 games. And they just seem to keep letting him throw it. So I'm just gonna take this line, and hopefully get some more picks next week.
I like it. As far as I'm concerned, this podcast is a Will Levis hate podcast because he's terrible, man.
I mean, yeah.
The first 3 weeks, he's made a major blunder every single week, and then, like you said, last week, for whatever reason, in their coach's mind, they're like, well, after you messed up horrifically twice, let me allow you to throw it 40 times. It's not good.
Yeah, and he's got some good guys that want to get the ball. Like they paid Calvin Ridley. They got DeAndre Hopkins, who's getting old, but their willingness to just absolutely sling it without any actual, advancement of any kind or progression is pretty.
It reminds me
pretty
of
despicable.
like Jameis Winston when he did 30 for 30, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, but without the 30 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's not that good passing.
All right, so I had one in my notes here. The line has moved again. I think I want to check one thing here, just to see what this other person, what my backup's number has moved to. Give me 1 second. Yeah, not even up there. All right,
waiting.
so
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jamie. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, what was the odds on the Will Levis INT again?
Minus 135, which seems kind of low, but
that seems kind of low. I was betting last year Jordan Love in the beginning of the season interceptions at like minus 180, something stupid. Yeah, something absolutely stupid. So the one that I'm gonna put here, and it's moved. It moved up a yard. I'm gonna take, and this is off the wall, maybe a little bit of homer pick. I missed the best Commanders game in 10 years. I was at work, couldn't see it. Watched a little line, doop 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 up the screen the whole time, and it was just like came back out to my car. Phone was blown up. Now that I'm looking forward to watching them. Hopefully they do good this week. I'm taking Luke McCaffrey, and that's over 19, or excuse me, it was 19.5. It's moved to 20.5 receiving. I think with Austin Eckler out in June, they're not going to line him up back there to like pass block or to like catch, like to actually run the ball. But I think they're going to throw him in there on third down, some unique positions. I think he's going to get a little bit extra targets with Eckler being out with the concussion. He's gone over this number 2 out of 3 weeks. Now, the week he didn't get any targets or any receptions at all. He is, as far as snap count, snap share, he is at the third. He's the third wide receiver. And with Eckler out and some of these other things, 20.5 is certainly doable. That's at minus 115. Another line that last night was 19.5, which I loved. It was my first thing I wrote down, but that's how I'll leave it at that.
Again, we love lines that you can hit in one play. So yeah. I like it.
All right.
Back to
Did I
me.
skip you?
I'm not paying attention if you did.
I totally skipped you. That's bogus. You weren't going to pick Luke McCaffrey, were you?
No.
All right.
Honestly, I was okay because I was like, Connor's not picking another running back. So
No, okay. So
I
you
got
got
more.
two of the last picks here. So whenever you're ready.
All right. What should I go with here? It's tough. I got a lot of running back picks, but I think I'm going to go with Najee over 64.5 rush yards, and that's at minus 115. He has hit this line in all 3 games, and the Colts have literally the worst rush defense in the league. You saw from the line, it should be a close game. They've given him, 17 to 20 carries every game. He just needs to average about 3 yards a carry, which he does, to get this line.
3 yards a carry. Pretty good.
That's it.
I'll tell you what, at half, you picked one last week, and I bet our board, and you picked him over carries last week. I think in the first half, he had like 4 or 5 carries, and I was like losing my mind. I was sitting there like, this is ridiculous. And then second half, just every time, ball.
I think Warren got hurt too, which probably helped it a little bit, but
Yeah, the more I've actually watched him, now that I'm in the Pittsburgh time zone here, is he is kind of, and let me say this very cautiously, Derrick Henry-esque in the sense that he wears them down. Not that he's as good as Derrick Henry, but the longer the game goes on, it seems the defense seems to wear down because he's just so big. Like, he gets better as the game goes on. Like, he starts off, and it doesn't look good. Every game, he has, like, 4 carries for 5 yards, like Connor says. And then all of a sudden, it starts flooding in.
yeah, the Steelers play this really old school football where they run the ball the whole game, and then towards the end of the game, you're wearing them down. And it's been like that every single time. They're playing super defensive football. They got a good defense, and yeah.
All right, this is where you make your comeback, pad your lead, however you want to look at it. 4th pick.
4th pick, and this is going to be a little chalky. Not as chalky as Will Levis, but Saquon over 75.5 rush yards. That's at minus 120. He has had over 100 in 2 out of 3 games. The Saints, he had over 100. He had 147 versus the Saints, who were supposed to be a top rush defense. And even without Lane Johnson, he averaged 9 yards a rush last week. They're going to be without A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They're going to have to lean on him. He might get 20, 25 carries. So I think you can get this one.
4 overs on rushing.
Mm-hmm.
Pattern.
It's worked for me.
Let me check something real quick. You're 5-0 on it.
Yeah, I have some other picks, but I thought Sure Stone was going to pick some RBs.
I learned my lesson. I try. You're the king. I can't.
Like Derrick Henry, Chuba Hubbard. I also have one here. They're playing some like the Bengals D we talked about is bad. The Bills, surprisingly, they gave up 96 to Achane and 68 to ETN in a blowout. So their defense looks better. And then my last pick was going to be Nico. If I didn't get any of those, he's hit 81 receiving yards, and he's hit that line every single week. And Tank Dell's out now, so some extra picks for the pod.
Yeah, they're going to want to bounce back to the Texans, so we'll see that. Let's go over to touchdown parlay. So let me get rid of these. All right. Stone's 3-0 on this, so we'll let him pick first. Certainly that it's well earned.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So I'll go back to one of my game picks where I picked the over in that game. I'm going to have a Jamar Chase touchdown at minus 105.
Nice. All right, Jamie, you're 2-1 on this. Still positive units. So who do you got this week?
A little equity. I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara. And that's at even money, plus 100.
Okay, I'm glad you guys took ones like that so that when I put what I'm about to put here, so a guy that I think is going to finally get in the end zone has probably been crushing fantasy owners out there for where he was drafted. I'm going to take Sam Laporta to finally get in the end zone. He was full at practice yesterday. It seems like he will play. That's at plus 205. And so that's
Damn.
going to bring us up to plus 1,000 on the odds on that. And so if we hit that, we're way back. But he hasn't gotten a touchdown yet, and I think it's they're going to try to make him happy. So that's going to close up shop for this week. Does anybody have anything additional they want to add before we close it up for the week?
Don't think so. I think Jamie's gonna
Nope.
go 4-0 on running backs, and then next week he'll go 5-0 on running backs.
Just so Jamie is 6-0 on running back props this season, and he's adding 4 to it. This could be an unreasonable percentage. We'll just leave it at that.
That's it. I mean, everyone knows the strategy. Look at the worst rushing defenses. Pick that running back, unless they're on like kind of a bad team, and then I'm a little worried. Like, that's why I withheld Chuba. Didn't want to pick that one, but I would have.
All right. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. We'll see everyone next week, and we'll try to keep this winning streak going. Put it into 3 weeks. So, see everyone next week.